Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So this will be a relatively quick video. And I did mean to get this out yesterday, but unfortunately I was delayed with some other stuff, but I figured I might as well dive into it now. So like I said, my Alita read through from yesterday, I wanted to just kind of, now that I'm done Volume 1 and 2, and I just kind of barely dived into Volume 3. I thought I'd give my thoughts on the first two volumes so far, kind of just a general overview of my thoughts on the series so far, favorite character moments, stuff like that. And I felt like, I'll probably touch on a little bit of that stuff quickly. Original plan I thought was maybe I'd do this at the end of the series, but just given how much content the volumes have covered, I feel like I'll probably do this going forward, just volume to volume. But yeah, so I'll dive into it, and I apologize if my thoughts come off as a little bit scattered. I wanted to prep a little bit better for this, but I thought I would do this while it's fresh in my mind. So I think I can say, from my reactions to the videos and everything else, I think I can easily say that Alita is one of my top favorite series, possibly of all time. I've been loving it from the start, and right now kind of just skimming back through it to kind of refresh my memories on some of the events and things that happened. And I do really love the series a lot. And of course, the biggest reason I do love the series is Alita as a character, just how well written she is and how complex she is compared to, most of the ones we get in a typical normal series. And I think the thing that stands out to me most about her as a character throughout the series is, she has a strong sense of justice. She's super badass and powerful. But at heart, she really is almost like a teenage girl. Because the thing that I think strikes me most about Alita going through the series is each arc is kind of her trying to find out more about herself, find out more about where she kind of fits in the bigger picture of, life and everything else. And it's also her finding out what it means to be human. Because in the first arc, we kind of just get, the bare bones introductions to kind of all the different characters and stuff. And you see that, after Ito's rescued her from the scrapyard and he puts her back together, you see that, he has kind of this imagination of like Alita being this perfect, divine, almost dress-up doll that he almost wants to keep her in like a glass case and admire her. And Alita from the start, just kind of completely rejects that notion and says, no, it's like, Ito, I do love you, I do consider you part of my family, but I have my own life to live, I have my own dreams and my own desires, and I'm not just, a mindless doll that you can just play dress up with and kind of bend to your whims. And I appreciate the fact that, Ito, although he does backtrack a little bit later on in the Motorball arc, I do appreciate the fact that once Alita tells him that, Ito does kind of respect her independence. He's like, okay, you know what, this is your life, you go ahead and do what you want with it. So I like a lot of the first little bits with Alita's kind of her almost overcoming her hero worship of Ito as she's kind of trying to find her place in the world. And so, she goes from being a hunter warrior in the battle with Bukaku. You kind of get to see, all aspects of her personality. You get to see her cocky side a little bit. When she's in the bar, she's trash talking all the other hunter warriors and calling them out for being cowards for not wanting to go after him. And then you see you know, that moment when Makaku does kidnap, was it Kyoko, the little baby, and he runs into the sewers. Alita's just like, yeah, you know what? I was talking smack, but now I have to deliver on it. I love the moments like that where she's just like, you know, yeah, she may be a little bit cocky, you know, she may be a little overconfident, but she does have, you know, kind of she has the skills to back it up, and she doesn't do anything out of like callousness or kind of like superiority, which I also really appreciate. So the first arc was good. Then second arc again, like I like how this first arc kind of establishes Alita as a character, you know, all her different facets. Then you go into the Yugo and Zalem arc, which is kind of peak Alita, you know, being a teenage girl, kind of develops a crush on a quote unquote bad boy, and you know, and just kind of discovering her feelings of love and like, you know, finding out what love means, you know, what it feels like to care for another person in that way. And again, like that arc also reinforces again the idea that you see other people, you know, also exploring the other people kind of talking about how they don't want to be forgotten, which is kind of like a prevalent theme going forward. We see it later with Josuke in the Motorball arc. But all of them seem to have this fear of, you know, they want to be remembered. They don't want to be, you know, they don't want the scrapyard and like the slums and everything to kind of swallow up their identity and for them to forget who they were and like have not made an impact. So that part definitely resonated a lot with me, especially with kind of Alita's desire to, you know, help him out. And the tragic end, that definitely got me where it hurt. But yeah, that whole thing. So I think the first two arcs were the ones where reading through it, I'm like, all right, I like Alita, but I don't think I got to the point where I was like, this is an absolute favorite of mine. And I think the Motorball arc is the one that did it because of one, I just love, you know, action oriented kind of martial arts fights, tournament fights like that. One, because of the diversity of the characters that Kishiro Sensei introduced. Like you have Ida Kati, you have Tegel, you have Josuke, you have Caligula, you have, you know, Ida's little mercenary group, you have Ed, you have Umba, you have all these diverse set of characters, you know, with all their own personalities, with their own motivations and everything else. And you have, of course, Alita once again kind of getting to be a badass and explore this. And then, like, I won't talk too much about the fights and stuff. Apart to say, fights were really cool. The only drawback complaint I think I would have had about the fights is some of the scenes it wasn't very. It didn't flow very well into like the movement. So like, what is Alita doing and like how the kicks and everything landed. But that's absolutely just minor stuff that doesn't impact it overall. But the fight with Josuke was definitely a favorite of mine because again you see that with him where at the end where he's just like, you know, I want to die a champion before my mind deteriorates, and you know, and I kind of lose my sense of who I am. And again, the part of thing that hits me the most in that part was where Ida Kati's talking to Alita when she says, you know, I'm gonna quit Motorball after this fight with Josuke, and he tells her that, yeah, you know, every Motorball participant, I see them, you know, as my brothers and sisters in battle, because we all dedicate our lives to the circuit, you know, and we live or die on it. And he kind of tells Alita, you know, you're an outsider in all of this because you don't share the same feelings as us. And I think that like that struck a chord with people. Like, all right, Alita's like still searching for her place. You know, she's still trying to find a place where she really fits in and belongs. And she's going, you know, through all these different kinds of professions and other things, trying to try them on. And I think like the thing is not even like the fact that she was an outsider and all of this, but also the fact that, you know, even though she is an outsider in all of this, she does have respect for everyone else that does pursue, these kinds of professions, these kinds of dreams, even if they aren't something she relates to or she wants to pursue. So I really, really loved, those kinds of reflective moments where Alita's kind of introspectively thinking about, what she wants, who she is, all those kinds of things that she's kind of coming to terms with not knowing what her identity was before she became Alita. So I definitely like those. And then, of course, Josquin, like the moments where he went out like a champion gave me chills like I can't even begin to describe. Same with my boy Tegel, who I did not see that coming. Like when I saw that match, I had an inkling when I first saw Tegel that he would end up in the final championship match against Josquin, on Alita's team. I did not expect him to go out like a badass the way he did. And, again, reaffirming his belief or reaffirming what Ida Kati said, Tegel dedicated his life to the circuit. And at the end of his life, he was like, I don't regret having chosen this career because I got to fight the champion, and my name will be remembered in this sport. So I really did love that. And I think that's part of the parts where it started to really, really hook me as a series. But yeah, I think I've rambled on enough, kind of just put out all my thoughts on there. But overall, I'd say Alita is a phenomenal series with a this is a term I really hate, but there's no better actually I should probably say with a complex female lead, which I really appreciate. It has a really, really diverse cast compared to a lot of other series I've read. The world building so far has been kind of so. I'm still waiting on the world building to learn more about Zalem and more about like that kind of society. But I do like the cyberpunk kind of sci-fi aesthetic. The artwork is phenomenal. Like there's some really gorgeous double page spreads throughout all the volumes. The fighting style is amazing. Alita's a bad. So yeah, like I said, going forward, I'll probably try to uh, do individual reviews for each volume, and next time I'll probably try to script this a little bit better so my thoughts are a little bit more cohesive when I'm talking about it. But yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed my review and hope you all stick around for the continuation of this series. So unless on my Twitter I announce a change of plans, expect the next read through to be out this weekend. So probably I'll try my best to do it on Friday evening because I'm going to be doing my Shonen Jump reactions on Friday after I get back from work because Shonen Jump's dropping early this week. So I might try to get this out on Friday as well along with that. If not, it probably will most likely be out on Saturday. So yeah, just watch my feed for it to come out. And until next time, this is Ash. I'll talk to you all later.